So you just finish your mix on your computer or laptop and you're out touring or in a studio and you're going to send this piece of music to your director, your music publisher or producer, whichever. And the problem is you haven't mixed or mastered your track. So your track isn't sounding as loud as you want it to be, and compared to commercial tracks, it sounds softer. So what do you do? Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Boost. I want to talk a bit about Boost. Boost is a plugin by Simple Magic that just does a great job at actually quickly mastering your tracks, and adds power and polish to your tracks. But before I go into Boost, I want to show you the traditional way, not traditional way, basically the original way and the way you should actually master your tracks and the concepts of doing it. Now, this is not a mastering tutorial, but I just want to show you the concepts of doing it, right? So basically, once you have your mix in already here, what you want to do is you want to start buzzing them. So if you look at the red ones here, I have 4 strings instrument right here, which belongs to the same group of bars per se, and basically I've buzzed them into a group called string bars. And what happens here is from actually mixing 14 tracks or even 30, 50 tracks, you should buzz them down into maybe 6 or 7 bars tracks to work with, and it makes your mixing job much simpler. And basically in your string bars, you're going to put things like a compressor to glue them up together. So I'm going to use things like a multi-compressor, which is also a multi-band compressor, and I can use something like an EQ, and in this case you're going to use a linear phase EQ. And the reason we use a linear phase EQ is so that we do not actually mess up with the sound characteristics of the instrument tracks. Alright, so basically mastering process and mixing process, you want to actually go through granularly into all these things, and basically really fixing it. A little bit of gain there, increasing the ratio, and basically making all sort of changes, and carefully actually mastering and mixing it and doing it. So you use a multi-band compressor, you use a mix, a bass compressor, and a lot of other things to actually glue them up together, and it takes time. Alright, now I'm not going to show you how to do all that. I'll just explain the concept, and I'm just going to show you how to use Boost. So in this video, yeah, I want to show you Boost. And Boost is a plugin by Simple Magic, which is essentially a sort of a mastering tool where you can add volume, you can add power and polish to your tracks. Now, Boost can also be used in many different ways, from using it on the output channel. Now, I've used this on the master channel, but you can use Boost also on single individual tracks and also with the bass tracks. Alright, and the concepts are pretty similar to what I've just shown you earlier. So I just want to show you the sound it affects on the track right here. And I'm going to leave the levels here so you can see the peak and RMS. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on and off while the music is playing so you can hear what changes it does. Alright? Okay, let's go. Alright, so immediately you can hear the kind of power that gets added to the track after just turning on this plugin. And the plugin is pretty simple to use. Alright, so let's quickly explain the parameters that you have on Boost. So basically, without going through all these things here, you have a lot of presets you can try, which would affect the sound, right? But I'm not going to go through the presets for now. You can try them on yourself when you get a plugin. You can get a plugin for free just to try and demo it on the Simple Magic site. Anyway, I'm going to show you the parameters here. So input here would be the input gains. The output would be the gain after going through the plugin. So again, you can use this as a mastering plugin where the output gain is the last say in the channel, or you can use it as a plugin in the individual instruments and bass track. And the reason you can do that is because Boost does not use a lot of CPU processing power, so it's quite a light plugin that works with on many tracks without actually pulling down the speed of your computer. Alright, now the extra buttons here, Boost button here, actually changes the algorithms and the order of the the parameters here, so it actually adds more volume and gain into your track. Compression here works like a multi-band compression, just like how I shown you in the multi-band compressor earlier. Now, one button actually, there's an algorithm that cleverly actually compresses the tracks on the multi-band compressor. So it's actually a multi-band compressor with just one button. All right. Colors would be the EQ. So as you go up and down the color, it basically sweeps up an EQ. It's also just the same as a multi-band EQ, which adds and modifies the EQ to your liking. So you can always swipe up and down to find the sweet spot. All right. Now stereo adds a bit of stereo weave to your piece. It adds that stereo weaveness that you can hear on the left and right. But I will not use this too much because when you use too much, this parameter here, this down here, kind of actually changes and messed up the phase in your piece. So use it very sparingly. And the limiter is like a limiter. Basically, the more you push it up, the more volume you get. And to cut everything off at the 0 dB point, you simply just press on this brick button right here. Okay, so coupled up with boost, right, and an adaptive limiter on the piece, you can pretty get quite loud results just within 2 minutes or 3 minutes of work. All right, so put on boost, slap on boost, use a preset if you want to, play around with the settings. Put on an adaptive limiter, a brick wall limiter in your track, and you're good to go. So I'm going to play this once and show you the plugins that I use, and also show you the levels that we gain through the boost and also adaptive limiter that is added up by a 3 dB increment here. Okay, so I'm going to start off without the plugins, and I'm going to slowly actually put in the plugins, turn on the plugins. Let's go. Okay, so that's just a very quick way of getting your tracks to a very loud level, a polished level. You can use again, you can use boost in so many different ways, using it as a master output, using it on an instrument, a track, or using it as a bass compressor. So I think boost is a really great plugin to have to add power and polish to your tracks. And for its price, it's on sale right now at samplemagic.com. I think it's a steal to actually get boost in your system, in your computer, and to have it handy whenever you need it. So let me know what you think of boost, and if you have any questions about boost, just let me know in the comment section below and I'll be back to answer you. Thanks for watching.